It is time. Hello and good morning. Yes, as you saw, it is time. It is another Tour de Fleece. I am so excited. I hope you are too. The jackdaws are. Certainly they are. It is early in the morning. It's about 7:45. Sadly, just as all the other years, I don't have much time to spin on the first day of Tour de Fleece. Why are people always torturing me like that? I do not understand. Anyway, it is a beautiful morning. We shall spin, and as you saw last week, or if you didn't see it, then, well, I'm telling you now. I'm spinning some Suffolk carded bats that we shall try and spin in a woolen manner. Let's get going. I mean, I just went going, but we're going to continue. This is why I asked you guys questions, because words, what are they? So do I have any particular plans for the yarn that I'm spinning this year's Tour de Fleece? Well, no, actually not. I have two main goals this year of 2024. The first goal of the year was to be a more unhinged, less self-conscious version of myself, and that is clearly working. And the second one was to learn long draw spinning, and I have been practicing quite a bit on it. As you saw during a couple of my videos. And well, this is just another round of practice, because practice makes progress. And my ultimate plan, the ultimate goal for this year's Tour de Fleece is just to get super nice woolen spun Suffolk yarn. Yeah, that's the plan. That is the end game. What are your plans though? I'm very curious, interested to know, what are you planning for this Tour de Fleece? Should sit a little bit more relaxed because I was hurting my shoulder like that. It's going pretty fast, that woolen spinning. Luckily I've got like 13 bats or something of this Suffolk, and that is not all. I haven't gotten through carding it all, so lots of yarn. I've got right now a little over an hour of spinning in. It is 9 o'clock precise, and I finished a first bat. That's a little bit exciting, but also mostly concerning, because I just told you I've got like 13 bats. I didn't card everything, but I think maybe I have fleece for maybe 3 or 4 more bats. And if you're not in the loop about what Tour de Fleece actually is, it is a challenge, a yearly occurring challenge that spinners put themselves to spin the entire duration of the Tour de France, which this year runs from June 29th until July 21st. If I'm going to spin at this rate, I mean, I'm just going to say it, this Suffolk just desires to be spun. It just flows, it runs through my hands like a stream of water. I'm also spinning a little bit thicker than the previous 2 years, because the previous 2 years I had a specific project in mind that both required either lace weight or fingering weight yarn. This is going to be more like DK weight or something. But yeah, if I'm going to spin at this rate, I'm not going to have enough of the Suffolk, and I only have one Suffolk fleece. Now luckily, I was also a little bit excited for Tour de Fleece to be done. So I already scoured some of the lighter Blue Texel fleece that I have. If I don't have enough Suffolk, I'm just going to spin Blue Texel as well. Plans can change and have to, you know, evolve over time if the current plan, well, isn't sufficient. And then also, I hinted at this in Sunday's video. On days that I'm not able to spin on my wheel, I will be spindle spinning that yellow braid that I got from Lisa, because it's bringing me a lot of joy to look at, and I think that is going to be a superbly beautiful yarn. So those are the plans. First, spin the Suffolk. If the Suffolk is not enough, spin the Blue Texel, and then meanwhile also spin that braid on spindles. Here we go. So yeah, that was like 2.5 hours of work for one fill bobbin already. I think like the other years I did like 2.5 days about it. Like, speed! I am speed! Call me lightning! Anyway, the second bobbin will be after I finish working, so that probably for tonight or something, maybe tomorrow. But it's glorious, glorious first single. And if you're hearing that noise, that is of course, yes, my husband's band, who are, because I got a question about this. I'm saving the more personal questions for like at the end of Tour de Fleece, but this one I will answer today. And that is, my husband's band is named The Yellow Line. They do not have a CD for sale as of yet, but in the beginning of the month of June, they did some recordings for an EP. So maybe in the future there will be CDs for sale. Right now you can find them on Spotify with some of their demo tracks, but they're not really professionally recorded. So do with that information what you will. And enjoy their jamming sessions for now. Oh no, it's the other way around. So used to having the bigger whirl, but this one we're using the smaller one. One good look at this single. So fuzzy! So I told you that I have to go to work right now, but it's an event where I have to take pictures, and last year there was this moment where I actually had to wait for people to come to me to get their big picture taken. So, well, we better be prepared, right? And take some spinning with us. Yeah. I mean, in the odd chance that it is the same thing this year again, so, you know. And if you promise that you will behave, I will take you with me as well. Are you going to behave? Okay, okay. I'll take you with me then. Get in the back, but behave, please, behave.
Als je nodig hebt of als je weet ik veel iets nodig hebt, dan zijn onze diensten er ook altijd. Ik ga zo dadelijk het woord aan Els geven om het spel voor de kinderen uit te leggen. Een aantal praktische dingen misschien nog. Jullie weten dat wel, binnen is het toilet als je daar door de deur gaat.
Good morning, friends. The second day of Tour de Fleece. That was not what you were looking at. No, what else is amiss in this frame? Ah, I see. Last time we spoke, there was no yarn on this bobbin. Well, yeah. I practically filled the second bobbin while watching the Germany versus Denmark game yesterday, which means that we could have a finished yarn by the end of today. Anyway, let's get spinning. Some of you wanted to know whether I have like a Ravelry group where you can post your progress of Tour de Fleece. I have not, because I am not an avid user of the Ravelry forum option. Ravelry to me is actually just a database of my patterns, my projects. That is it. I use it as a database, or like as an online shop for patterns. That's actually the only way I use Ravelry. If it doesn't give me like ping notifications that there is a new message, I will forget to check a forum. What I do have, on the other hand, and I have talked about this in the previous video where I made the Secret Santa package, is that I have a Patreon Discord community, and we have aptly named ourselves Team Chaos Goblins. So yeah, we are kind of a team over there. We share our pictures in the Discord chat, and one of my patrons, Sarah, made a spreadsheet so that we can collectively count how many kilometers or yards or miles, whatever, we have spun over the Tour de Fleece. And apparently on day 2 we're at 14 kilometers. This is mostly because one of my patrons had to start earlier because of logistical reasons. But there is this slight dream, a hope, to get to a certain kilometers or miles, and the first idea was to spin as many kilometers as the Tour de France is long, but that's folly, because the Tour de France is 3,500 kilometers. That's a little bit of a stretch. But then there were other ideas, like maybe just one stage of the Tour de France. But that might be too easy, because 206 and we're already at 14 on day 2. Yeah, you get it. But then the final idea, and I liked it quite a lot, was to spin the distance between Bag End and Erebor, which is apparently 1,000 miles. Which prompted me to sing, and I would spin 500 miles, and then I would spin 500 more, just to be the girl that spun 1,000 miles to go to Erebor. And if we achieve that, then we're no longer Chaos Goblins, but Chaos Hobbits. It is time to screw the Lazy Kate back on. I've taken it off because, as you might or might not remember, last year I unscrewed it. Unfortunately, with my knee, one of my bobbins fell and kind of broke. However, most of you will not remember, because ever since my subscriber count has practically tripled. Crazy to think about that. Anyway, time to ply. So we're sporting an honestly quite ridiculously sized plying gauntlet, so I did not manage to make equal bobbins of singles. Anyway, that's but the only exciting thing happening right now. Second thing is, we're also about to enter bobbin chicken zone. Wish me luck. Yep, that is one full bobbin. Obligatory squish. Yeah, let's take it off. Let's see what one full bobbin actually entails in meters. But I'm taking my stuff outside for that because it's a little bit too hot to be doing physical exercising like putting yarn on a niddy-noddy in the studio. We have 272 wraps around my niddy-noddy. That is still going strong, even though I know that there are some of you who are waiting the demise of my homemade niddy-noddy. It is still going strong, thank you very much. 272 wraps around. What does that actually mean? Let's take my cell phone and calculate some calculations. That would mean that this is approximately, because as my niddy-noddy is handmade, I don't know for sure what is the exact measurement. I always take like 1.4 meters, so this means that this is 380.8 meters. And it's like hanging sort of balanced. Like there is a little bit of twist to the skein, but I think it's the kind of twist that will disappear when wet setting and thwacking the yarn, and then all the energy will be equally distributed. Now look at this yarn. This is, I mean, probably not the most consistent yarn in the world, or not even the most consistent yarn that I have made, but this is more consistent than I would have thought my first Tour de Fleece skein to be, because when I sampled it, it was a little bit thick and thin, but maybe the 3 times carded bats were better prepped than my sample hand carded one. I don't know, it's a gorgeous fluffy yarn. Yes, I am very happy with this. This is big skein. And that in 2 days, not even, like a little more than 24 hours. I so distinctly remember being so proud of myself during my very first Tour de Fleece that I had 1 week, 1 skein. I must, however, admit that this is a weekend, so I have more time to spin now than I will probably tomorrow or the day after that. But I'm curious to see how much I can spin in a week this time, because long draw, it just zooms. It's zooming. I love it. I might become a long draw girly after this. Who would have thought? Let's start skein number 2 outside, even though the wind is picking up and there are dark clouds coming from behind us. I don't feel like sitting inside anymore. So any moment that I can get outside, I will grasp with both my hands. Even though this lighting is probably really weird when you are in the sun and I am in the shadow. But I've got sensitive skin, so got to protect myself. I had anticipated during my prepping of this fleece that maybe the shorter stable length would be a challenge. Yeah, no, not really a challenge. Mina, I've been talking all about how this is zooming, how this is flowing like water. I see no challenge in the shorter staple length of the Suffolk. Two more beds done. It might be that the possibility of spinning more than one fleece during this Tour de Fleece is spurring me on to go a little extra on this. Possible. But also, I've got like the entire Sunday still ahead of me. Well, half of it. I think it's now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I literally have nothing else planned today, so how cool would it be to have a second skein today? Like, I think I could if I really push on. But I also have to edit the footage of today, so we'll see. But I'm just going to continue at my same, well, quite fast speed. Also, I didn't share it with you yet, but I'm just seeing it lying right over there. Yesterday I also got quite a bit done on my spindle. Yeah, my cup is a little bit squished from being in my backpack, but nice. So yeah, one voice chat with my team members. Later we have two chunky boys. So this was the first one, the chunkiest of them all, 380 meters. I've made nice labels. This one is the second one of today. This is 280 meters. Yeah, two big skeins, huge, humongous. I'm so happy. Like, and they're looking really good. Like, I think they're consistent, like both the same thickness, or maybe like a little bit of a difference, but like not really noticeable. What am I? Am I becoming actually like a good, skilled spinner? Is this happening? Anyway, I do feel in my arms that I have been moving them in ways in which I normally don't use them, so I'm going to take it easy for the rest of the night. It's now 8 o'clock. I think it's time to edit the vlog up until now, and then we'll start a third, probably chungus, tomorrow. See you then. Good Monday, friends. I am now baptizing you all into Red Devils fans. Unless you are French, because I'm not asking of you the sacrifice to sing the Brabançon instead of the Marseillaise. It is Euro 2024 and today the Belgians are playing against the French, and we're going to watch the game and see how much yarn we can spin during it. Let's go! Waar de krachten, het bloed van onze aderen, wees ons doel in arbeid en in strijd. O bloei, o land, in eendracht niet te breken. Wees immer jezelf en ongeknijd. Good game, my French friends, good game. You had the better team. However, this Belgian was able to score. I put 2 bats on my bobbin. Which brings the total still spinnable Suffolk fluff to approximately this. Yeah, I am going to spin Blue Texel this Tour de Fleece. That's for sure. Anyway, as you see, I have changed into something more sportive. I'm going to go to my physical therapy appointment. See you tomorrow. Boop. A fine evening / late afternoon, everyone. I've just returned home from working, and well, the best way to unwind, of course, is still spinning. For today, which is for this vlog, the final day, I want to finish spinning my 2 bats on this second bobbin of my 3rd skein. That would be nice if I could have that finished today and then still have ample time to like edit this vlog and everything. And it has occurred to me that actually my vlogs are not enough for you guys. You are very thirsty for Tour de Fleece content, and well, I was asked the question for recommendation for other YouTubers that are active during this Tour de Fleece. In this here video I want to highlight just one, but in the description you will find, well, a probably not exhaustive list, but a pretty long list of other content creators which I know will post regularly on Tour de Fleece. So the one creator I want to give a shout out right now is my friend Etienne. He is a Canadian YouTuber, and I think his channel has a lot of goblin potential. So yeah, go forth and enjoy all the lovely Tour de Fleece content there is to find on the YouTubes. Reached my goal for the day, but however we only have 3 bats left right now. So tomorrow, after we finish plying this, I think the next order of operations is to, well, you know, card some more Suffolk, because these 2 bobbins are 4 bats. Yeah, I don't have enough bats to make my 4th skein already on day 4 of Tour de Fleece. Anyway, I managed my goal for today, finishing off here, going to edit this vlog so you can see it tomorrow on Wednesday. Now, before I actually leave you today, let's take a look at what the rest of Team Chaos Goblin has done these past 4 days. And you know the drill, if you see an @ in front of their names, that means that this is a social media account that I highly encourage you to check out. Anyway, I do hope you stick around for the rest of the Tour de Fleece, and if you like this kind of fiber shenanigans, then maybe you could like, comment or subscribe, but of course that is all up to you. And as for me, I will see you in a next video. Bye!